We must first drop back into space. Both upper angles of the flywheel at the sun position in Figure 2. Both angles will remain attached to the unbroken area of the flywheel circumference, but they will drop back into space enough to permit both to project out of sight beyond the sun's location. The remainder of the flywheel circumference area will then extend in space, a streaming banner universe on the horizontal. The sun will then be situated over the horizontal universe, and the sun's course in space will be over the universe now. The horizontal two-sided banner or plane universe will begin a series of arching at the sun point, and the arching will continue along the entire length of the illustrated universe area that can be held on the page. More of the universe beyond both edges of the page will do the same. But that area cannot be seen. The series of arching up and down toward and away from the sun's course above the universe will prescribe an undulation of the universe areas. Every area of the banner universe presented could readily be cylindrical. That contour would in no way interfere with physical continuity of the whole. Moreover, the developments in a world of reality will be the same if the illustrated universe extends beyond the sun, and the sun's course is above the undulating universe whole, or if the sun is moved with the unseen area of the universe, which comprise the upper right angle of the flywheel. The sun would then be at the head of the universe angulation. It would act as leader, or guide for the entire universe structure. Then the sun would not prescribe its course along the universe structure, as described in the flywheel illustration. Its course would become the course of the force it dispense, and that magnetic force would be transmitted along the entire universe structure. Then very sky area of the universe would absorb whatever portion of that perpetually dispensed magnetic force it required. As previously explained, some areas would take less because their condition required less, other areas would absorb more because their condition demanded more. Hence the inconceivable length of the universe, Ho, is enveloped in perpetual darkness over or above the continuous, luminous outer sky, which extends with the universe land structure. And along the infinite course of the universe, a magnetic force inherent in the structure serves to maintain it on the original construction plane or level in space. Infinite, that realistic magnetic force engendered within the land structure may be likened in its eternal function to the human body's actuating spirit. It receives constant replenishment from the sun's dispensation of energy, which is first received in the sky over our land areas of the universe. That magnetic force dispensed by the sound serves a very definite purpose in the outer sky areas. Where it is received from the sky, it penetrates into the depths of the land, terrestrial and celestial, but again, like the human spirit, its function is never completed if the universe makes any movement, whatever it is that inherent magnetic force which actuates the motion. And if the motion is that of ulation, it is the magnetic spirit of all land areas of the universe, which actuates the undulation. That magnetic force of the universe is beyond the bounds of theory and abstruse mathematics. Its most formidable application serves to keep alive in all realistic matter the natural creative endowment, or if one prefers, the spark of divinity, so the shaping of a pebble on the shore, a pearl in the oyster shell, and the perfecting of a diamond, a ruby and an emerald, or the development of a single drop of oil in the bowels of the land, are no less expressions of creative ingenuity's magnetic force than the inner blue and outer luminosity of the sky, which depends on that force, the UPR rearing of a mountain at one time and place, or the obliteration of an island at another time and place. ATT test to the universal magnetic influence from the crater of the sun. If all known philosophy had been rendered eternally muted, its inception, the magnificent truths of creative reality, would have been self-evident as a result of the ceaseless function of magnetic force throughout the universe. All that was described of the magnetic function of the universe depicted by the flywheel illustration has equal application to the presently described universe, extending as an endless plane through infinite space. The undulation of flywheel circumference areas toward and away from a central sun would be equivalent to an undulation by areas of the horizontal plane universe toward and away from a sun course above the universe. And its movement, the horizontal plane universe, is comparable to the insect, our universe extending on the horizontal and waving or undulating in space. and the conditions developing from both universe patterns, flywheel and horizontal plane, undulating toward a sun center and toward a sun course would apply to a third universe pattern, where the undulation would only seem to be toward and away from a sun leader on the same level as the universe structure. The horizontal plane universe, like the Earth's realistic plane and deserts, possesses length and width, but as the length is infinite, the ends transcend conceptual capacity, hence they cannot be subjected to physical view. However, the width of every universe area may be established in the manner that width of this terrestrial area of the universe, Ho, is acquired, but the width cannot be established until after we arrive at the particular universe areas. That consideration would have to apply regardless of the shape of the realistic universe whole. There is more to be said concerning width of unknown universe areas. It will provide the answer to the contour of the universe whole, but it is very doubtful that the answer will be seen. It is absurd to attempt calculation of unknown celestial areas of the universe with application of astronomical gauges, however, and without thanks to every unknown area of the celestial universe about us is as accurately charted in width as every area of the known terrestrial. Thus, the answer to the realistic universe contour previously pointed to by the flywheel illustration is again pointed to by the foregoing assertion that the celestial width pattern is shown by terrestrial width determinations. As we return to further description of the illustrative universe, it should be borne in mind that nothing has been said about seeing the width of unknown celestial areas of the universe whole. We will never see the width until we arrive at the particular celestial areas, but we may know the width from a pattern to which we have access. In the case of the illustrative flywheel universe, every angle thereof participated in the universal undulation toward and away from the sun's course in space, or toward and away from the center of the dark stratosphere area of the illustration. All corresponding areas of the horizontal plane universe would prescribe the same movement up and down, or toward and away from the sun's course, which would be above the universe structure. It may be observed that in both cases, the sun's relation to all areas of the universe would remain the same. The visualization from flywheel to horizontal plane arrangement of the universe H in space would in no way alter the sun's course in space with relation to the universe it served. Let's check the situation in the flywheel universe. The sun's course would be from its depicted location through the center of the dark stratosphere area. When the flywheel outline is terminated and the circumference stretched out to a horizontal line which extends beyond both ends of the page, holding the illustration, the sun's course becomes a course above the horizontal PL universe. No matter what words area used to explain the situation, the undeniable fact remains that the sun's course in space is unchanged. In both cases, the sun is above the universe structure. We changed the contour of the universe, but we did nothing to the sun and the sun's course. Though the universe contour may be known, it must ever remain. Beyond human sight, the realistic pattern of the created universe could not even be seen by an observer beyond the universe. Wherever that may be, we who inhabit the terrestrial area of the universe and are privileged to theorize and conjecture upon the universe, contour in space, are after all a part of that universe. The patterns we apply to the universe area but timely stop gaps to explain conditions and events, both factual and seeming, and the patterns imposed by our theorizing and conjecturing must be remote from creative reality. In both illustrations of universe contour and movement, each terrestrial and celestial area undulated out in space from the allotted position in the space where it had been created in. So doing, all were ascending toward the sun's course. Then, having reached the peak of each area's daily expansion, they would return through contraction to their original position in the created universe whole. In such manner they caused to develop the physical conditions experienced, particularly long days, short days and seasons, as well as the manifest conditions of day and night, and such conditions experienced at terrestrial level have to be experienced at celestial level. However, her reasonable explanation of experienced conditions did not demand severance of one area of the universe from its neighboring area, nor did the explanation of conditions necessitate acceptance of the illusion that every area of the universe is a globular area, and it did not require that every celestial area in the terrestrial H be assumed to be isolated in space, and hurling in a mathematical orbit at various fantastic speeds for the different areas, and a yearly course toward and away from the sun. In the light of modern discovery, the concept of globular and isolated universe areas is discredited, and the discoveries preclude any possibility that areas of the universe whole area, circling or ellipse in space. Hence, the undulating movement of the universe as a connected whole presents a much more reasonable expression of creative ingenuity, and it fits into the pattern of modern discoveries.